A very good morning to all of you. It is my pleasure to be here addressing the group that in a way reminds me of my older self. Not too far back when I was looking to make a comeback to the workplace post my maternity sabbatical. It was not a sudden decision for me, but a planned one, and that in a way relatively helped me in a much smoother manner to get back to the workplace. So people go through various life stages, and that's the essential part of our existence, our journey, and our growth. However, women often have to walk a tightrope when it comes to managing new roles along the way. With a singular focus on career till first few years of our professional journey, soon strikes new stages of marriage and motherhood for most of us. And that's the phase where we are having difficult conversations, trying to figure out, should I go with my heart or mind? Should I leave my flourishing career midway? That's the question on top of the mind of many women. And many of them decide to take a career break to focus on and prioritize current responsibilities. But what makes their return to work in a smooth way is their determination to be back and have a clear sight of how they visualize their future. Returning to work after several years may seem like a daunting and intimidating prospect because many women feel that few years off from work may impact their profile, their candidature negatively to the potential employer. But let me assure you that is not the case. Times have changed. Organizations today are becoming increasingly progressive. And that's the reason they are embracing returnship. Today, career break is a mainstream. Hiring women after a break is not a token gesture. It is a business imperative because businesses, organizations are aware that there is a lot of value add that this talent pool can bring in when they join us. In fact, I believe this is an opportune time for women to make a comeback because of this enabling, supportive environment that we are seeing in the workplaces. However, for women to leverage this opportunity, to leverage this time, it is important that there is a proper preparation on their part so that they get the right opportunity and they are able to make the transition to working life smoothly. So I'm going to share my screen. There are some key elements to this entire returning to work process, which I say has to be followed in a planned and structured way. And I'm going to deep dive little more into each of these elements. Returning to work has to be a planned and structured approach. And this approach entails several elements, each of which forms a significant part of the entire process. Starting with evaluating job needs. When you have decided to make a comeback to the workplace, you should be clear in your mind as to what is it that you're expecting from the role, from the job. What are your expectations in terms of the compensation, flexibility? For example, working hours, work from home, commute time, etc. Be clear of your needs and requirements. And remember that you are assessing the potential employer as much as they are assessing you. So do not apply for all the roles that come your way. Be mindful, be clear as to how you want to restart your career. Because once you restart your career, then obviously you do not want to go back. So for example, when I was looking for a comeback, I was clear that I wanted to restart with full vigor. And that meant working full 8 hours, 9 hours. And I had that confidence because I had done the preparation on my part. When my daughter turned 2, I put her in a daycare because I wanted her to ease into a new environment before I start working afresh. I gave her 1 or 2 months to settle in. She was able to adjust in that time frame, and that's when I started looking for a job. But I was clear what job I wanted. I wanted to continue from where I left off before my sabbatical. So I applied to only those jobs where I wanted to make my career further ahead. And that's how my career search, my job search post sabbatical started. For me, it was easy in a way that within 1 month of my job search, I landed my current role, and it did not take me by surprise because I had already done that preparation. So 2 months, my daughter was already adjusted, and since you are on a break, you do not serve notice period, and the employer expects you to join right from day one. I mean, they do not even give you a break, and which is fine. So take into consideration all of these things. Have a plan in place that today when you are looking for a job, an offer comes, you should be able to start your work within few days of getting an offer, because that's the expectation from the employer that is going to be. So do not be surprised. I was a little surprised because I thought, okay, I would get some breather, some time to make more adjustments on my personal front, but it doesn't happen. So keep consideration of those aspects when you are looking for a job change. So once that is taken care of, and I know that all of you are looking to make a comeback to IT industry, and I think IT is one of the most promising sectors we have today. It has great opportunities. So I think it's an exciting time to be making that comeback. So once you have evaluated your job needs, comes the next stage of shaping the narrative of your career break. Very important part. It is more about preparing yourself mentally. Women, when they are on a career break, they have a tendency to feel apologetic, embarrassed, guilty of this gap. Instead, women should reflect on the competencies they have gained during this period. Time off from work always provides new perspectives, and I'm sure all of you would agree to that. For new working mothers, there are so many behavioral competencies we see that are evolved in our role of a mother. Adaptability, composure, perseverance, resilience, so many of those competencies which are today critical at workplace to be successful. So be self-aware, be confident of your capabilities, skills, and strengths when you are making a comeback. Sometime back, I penned an article in Economic Times, and I'm just going to give you a glimpse of the framework that I proposed. This article highlighted the role of returning mothers in the workplace and how this talent pool can be leveraged to drive business growth. When a woman wades through the motherhood phase, she unknowingly adds various behavioral characteristics to her repertoire of competencies that may not get added to value-added contributions because of a combination of self-ignorance and employer ignorance. So if you look at this grid, this green bar that you see, the green table, it shows that when woman is aware, a returning mother is aware of her competencies that she has learned in that period of sabbatical, she's able to demonstrate those, and that results in high motivation and engagement, and which helps her perform in a much better way, and she can see an accelerated growth in career. So your inputs are dependent on your self-awareness of those skills that you're bringing to workplace after your return. However, if you look at the bottom two boxes, where the returning mother doesn't have the awareness of her skills, so this blue colored, she will be low on motivation and engagement over a constant period, and that will result in low performance in her career. In fact, there was some research done by GenPact study, I think 2 years back, wherein they said women, when they return to career, when they return to the workplace, huge fraction of them drops out again within a couple of months of rejoining. And this is one of the main reasons why that happens. After making a decision to make a comeback, you're joining in. But if you again drop out, it is not going to help you in your career aspiration. And what is doing that? And the barrier is this: when women do not have that self-awareness of their competency. So please reflect on the time that you have spent away from work. Ask yourself these questions. How has sabbatical period helped me grow as a better individual? Has it made me more resourceful? How has it helped me gain those skills and those competencies which I can demonstrate at workplace to add more value? When you will ask these questions to yourself, answers will come naturally. And you will see that actually this period of break has made you a lot more confident, because you can talk about how this period has changed you. So that's how you have to shape the narrative of your career break. In fact, this framework that I just showed you, it was seeded when I was on a sabbatical, because I saw that I saw that change in me. I saw I was becoming more patient. I was able to show a lot more resilience in that role. And that is exactly what organizations need. In fact, returning mothers make the best candidate to work in organizations because of their experience and tact in managing stressful conditions and deliver what is expected of them. So change the narrative of your career break. Be proud of it. Showcase how it has helped you become a better individual. Once you have got that confidence, once you are clear and you are all set to talk about how that period has helped you, do networking. Networking is something that goes parallelly, in fact. Connect with people. Get lost connections back. The idea of networking is to make meaningful, useful connections so that you keep yourself up to date on what is it that's happening around in your industry. Leverage various platforms, and I think the greatest platform, I must say, is Her Second Innings. Specialized consultants who are facilitating the intake of women returnee talent pool to organizations. Leverage these platforms. And I must appreciate the role the team is playing in this. There are various social media platforms like LinkedIn. Be an active member there. Join new groups. Follow people, what they're doing. If you're already part of some groups, re-engage. Share your perspectives, share your thoughts. This is all going to help you. Not just in the short term. Networking is something which is not like a one piece process that you're doing. It is an ongoing part in your career journey. But earlier you start getting those results. Many women think networking is not their cup of tea. I'm not sure how many of you believe that. When I was on a sabbatical, I always used to think networking is going to take a lot of my time, a lot of my effort, and I don't have that much of bandwidth. But that was not the right thought, and I realized it later. Networking is not about spending indefinite time on talking to people, on making connections. No, it is again a structured process. Start contributing some percentage of your time daily. And you decide, you want to do it daily, weekly, fortnightly, whatever is the frequency that is comfortable for you. Make it a discipline, make it a routine. And that can start as simple as, okay, I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to send connection requests to these many people. I will write some articles, at least one article every month, that will showcase my knowledge on the area that I'm looking to get into. So give yourself those bite-sized targets and make it a routine, make it a discipline, do it consistently. And you will see that it is really going to bring a lot of change in you. You will feel so much more confident when you are able to showcase that knowledge that you carry, that skill set you carry. And let me tell you, employers, when you are going for interviews, you're talking about how you utilize this period of sabbatical, you have ample to talk about. You can showcase your thought leadership. And thought leadership does not need to be strategic. It can be very, very simple. A simple skill set that you are carrying, you can talk about that. So that's networking. Relearning your industry, very important. Today, we all know we are living in a fast-paced environment. Technology is changing so rapidly. The world around us is changing so rapidly. From the time we take a break to the time we make a comeback, things have evolved. So how do you ensure that you keep yourself abreast of those advancements, those changes in the industry? Go for learning courses. In fact, in today's era of social revolution, we have everything at our disposal, isn't it? We just go to YouTube and whatever skill you want to gain, whatever knowledge you want to gain on any area, you can easily obtain it. There are courses available on LinkedIn. There are free courses, there are paid courses. There are also various other platforms which provide various learning programs. So there is no shortage of tools and resources to equip yourself with those skill sets. What is required is, again, a structured thinking. I am looking to make a comeback in IT industry, and this is the role I'm looking at, which requires, say, this particular skill set of, say, Java or machine learning, AI. I need to train myself on these particular technologies so that I qualify myself for those roles. So let me go and look for these courses, start taking those courses, and that's how you kind of make yourself available, make your candidature compelling to the potential employers. Certification is one of the best ways to show your credibility in the eye of the potential employer. It shows your commitment and passion toward the desired role. So do leverage what we have at our disposal and be clear as to what is it that you want to gain before you start applying for those roles. Be prepared to ensure that there is no gap in your knowledge and in your skill set. Then comes the last few critical stages, which will take you closer to your destination: an impactful resume. It goes without saying, a resume has to be impressive. Then comes the last few critical stages, which will take you closer to your destination: an impactful resume. It goes without saying, a resume has to be impressive. When I say impressive, it doesn't mean that putting in information which is not relevant. Resume has to be impressive, impactful, with authentic and relevant information. Put in those keywords like industry-related, job-related, which will make your resume ATS friendly. So what is an ATS? Today, many organizations use various automated tools like applicant tracking system. They will just look for those keywords, and that is the first stage of your resume getting shortlisted. So ensure that your resume has those keywords. And how would you pick those keywords? From the job description. In fact, tailor your resume to the needs of the job. Today, for example, you're applying to say 4 or 5 roles. Your CV should be customized to each of those 4 or 5 roles. And then tell you the reason why. With our experience and expertise, there is so much we want to talk about. It is impossible to put everything on 2 pages. That is why the role that you're applying to, be clear of what are the significant or the topmost skill sets and requirements they have, and put those in your CV. Highlight your CV, capturing the skills that your employer is looking for. So do not go with one standard CV for each. As I said, tailor it as per the needs. It is really going to help you. When I was coming back to work, I proudly put sabbatical period in my CV. I acknowledged the break in my career, and I showcased how this period helped me enhance my competency that I talked about some time back. How those competencies are going to help me be at my best, not just in the personal front, but also professional front when I come back. So your CV is ready, comes your D-Day, and the D-Day is when you have your interview. You definitely do not want to mess it up. So be prepared. Do your homework on the organization, job role, possible questions, interview questions. In fact, I encourage all of you to watch some mock interview videos and also research on some possible questions, interview questions that can get asked. Objective is to be as prepared as you can, because when you are prepared, it will translate into confidence. And confidence rarely lets us. So you have cleared that hurdle of an interview. I won't say a hurdle, it's an opportunity to showcase your candidature. And most of us will believe that this is the last stage for us to get to our desired destination. There is no further stage after this. But I've added one more stage after this. What is that negotiation? So you've landed an offer. Now comes the salary compensation part. Many of the returning women feel that this period is full of uncertainty. They make an assumption that the employer may not be willing to hire them because they may have to do a lot of catching up and they have better candidates to take. So it becomes tempting for them to take the offer what comes their way without any questions asked. Is that the right way? No, that's not the right way. Remember that returning women are an experienced resource pool. You have the experience, you have the expertise. And so it is important to know your self-worth. When I say self-worth, it's important to know the compensation for that level, for that position that you're applying for. There are various resources available today. For example, you have LinkedIn, Salary, Glassdoor, all these platforms. They compile up-to-date salary data, which is reported by people who are actually performing these roles. So know the compensation for the position you're applying for. And once you have got that clarity, comes a negotiation stage. Again, this is a stage which many women dread because we equate negotiation to conflict. It doesn't have to be that way. Negotiation is not combative. Negotiation has to be treated as a back and forth discussion, a discussion in which both the sides are trying to understand each other's needs and working toward a mutual win. Remember that returning to work for women who took a break is a turning point in their life. And it is important that you ensure you are being compensated fairly so that you see a positive career trajectory from that turning point. And what that means is, it is worth the time and effort that you put in to know how much you are being paid, to communicate your value and advocate for what you should get. What can happen in a worst case scenario is maybe your demands are not met, which is fine. At least you put forth your value. What is it that your expectation is? Let me tell you, employers today will ensure that returning women are being paid to community, because organizations are working towards building equity. And pay is one of the most important factors to ensure that. So there is an enabling environment already for you. You don't have to put in a lot of effort, but if you're not going to be upfront about your expectations, then they will not really go ahead and make that compensation or other requirements for you. So you have to be the first person to ask for what you want. Do not hold yourself back. Do not be in a position where you feel, oh, I have got a job offer that is more than what I was expecting. I'm so grateful for this. No. You are going back to the work because you know that you're going to contribute, and you should be paid, you should be compensated fairly for that. Of course, if you're looking for flexibility and you're looking for working, say, part-time, reduced number of hours, because many organizations have those flexible work arrangements also, in which case, obviously, compensation would be adjusted accordingly. So whatever is the work structure that you're looking for, be realistic, but whatever is the benchmark for that position in the industry, negotiate for that. The key elements I wanted to take all of you through. I just want to close with saying, all of you have only hit a pause in your career. It is not a full stop. And remember, that was a decision you took consciously. And you're not alone. Like various personal and professional milestones, treat career gap as a bridge and be confident that this bridge is going to help you reach your destination. So do not perceive career gap as a penalty, but an opportunity to present a more confident you. Thank you. Very good question. See, understand from the perspective of an employer. An employer today has a wide talent pool to hire from, right? The fact that they are considering women who are returning back after a sabbatical is because they trust that their experience and their expertise is going to add value. And what is required is maybe a certain level of refresher training courses to bring them up to date to the current requirements. So when you say stringent requirements they have, I am assuming that is not, that could be because of the new technologies, new changes that have happened in that particular domain, in that industry. However, if you carry the relevant experience and the expertise, those things can be easily worked upon. And maybe if you can be a little more specific, I can kind of tell you a lot more about how you can address this issue. I understand your dilemma. You have to look at your career from a long-term perspective. You have decided to make a comeback, and I'm sure it is something that you want to keep for a long term. How do you see yourself? If you want to continue what you were doing earlier, then it is easy for you to transition. It is easy for you to kind of apply for those roles because you've already done that before. But if you want to make a shift to something new, then you have to learn those skill sets. You have to gain some more knowledge. So whatever field you are doing, and what I'm understanding from your question is that there are two options right now that you are deliberating on. One is something that you had done, and the other is a new one. So whatever it is, just weigh the pros and cons and go with what you think you're able to deliver effectively. I'm not a technical person, but what I can tell you is whatever skill sets you carry and the job that you're applying for, just understand the requirements, the expectations. If you're not clear, I suggest that you get in touch with the recruiter. Understand from them that what are those must-haves. So any job that you apply to, you will always see that there will be must-have, good to have. So what must have is you should possess those skills, those knowledge areas. And what is good to have can give you an edge during the interview stage. So accordingly, prepare your candidature and prepare yourself for those roles. That is the mind block we have. We need to overcome this mind block. We feel that we have a career gap and our candidature is less valued compared to other candidates who do not have a career gap. Do not think that. Because if you will have that mind block, obviously people around you, your employers, will carry the same thought process. As I said, showcase your sabbatical, your sabbatical period as a period where you improved, where you gained several competencies. And that period is going to help you deliver much more value when you come back to work. Today, employers are aware and they are progressive. Today, they are not going to discriminate. There may be few employers, and I can take my own example. When I was coming back to work, I had a couple of offers in my hand. One offer from that was paying me less than what I was drawing earlier. But I was very clear that I would go with the employer who values my experience and expertise and pays me fairly what I deserve based on that experience and expertise. When you're clear in your mind because you have that confidence in yourself, you would land that opportunity. And that's the process. And I think that's the mind shift I want all of us to have. Do not think that career gap is a barrier. Do not undervalue yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. But what I can advise you is that whatever switch you are making, switches are possible. People do make a switch. But when you make a switch, you prepare yourself for that. Today, when you are going for an interview, employers look for experience and the knowledge. If you do not have the experience, because obviously you are switching to a new line of career, fill up that gap with the knowledge, with the learning courses. And if possible, do some pro bono consulting. You can offer consulting to some your services to some organizations, smaller organizations, as a pro bono, where you're not getting paid, but you're offering your consulting. So those things can help you pitch yourself as one of the best candidates when you are making a switch. But do check with the recruiters, or do check. In fact, I would encourage that on LinkedIn, connect with people who are currently in the profile that you want to switch to. Talk to them and ask them, is this shift possible? And people who have made a shift, how easy or difficult it was for them. It will help you get a real perspective on the ground as to what is happening in the industry. Understand, where you all are coming from, and while the environment today is very enabling, companies are very progressive. The various companies have come up with returnship programs. The key lies in patience, right? If you have made a decision to come back and you are raring to go, believe me, you will get that opportunity very soon. Just keep trying. Do not rely on just one source, and networking is the key. Reach out to as many people as you can, reach out to as many organizations as you can through LinkedIn. And let me tell you, you may not see any response coming in back when you write to them. That is okay, right? But as I said, if you develop a routine, you develop a process wherein you say that, okay, every day I'm going to reach out to 5 of my peers, 5 of the seniors in the industry where I'm looking for a role. You keep doing it for 1 month, maybe 2 months, and I think that's a maximum time frame. I'm telling you, you would see somebody who is going to call you back. So just be on the lookout for those opportunities. I know that IT is a very promising sector. There is a slump right now, and that can happen in any sector, right? But it is just a passing phase. Technology is the future, and I am very, very confident. In fact, I believe that it is one of those industries which is going to give the maximum opportunities to people who carry different skill sets in various technologies. So this is just a temporary phase. If you're not getting any calls, do not be demotivated. Use this time period to brush up your skills, to network with people, do pro bono consulting. This is really going to help you, because that is going to keep your knowledge level consistent with what's happening around, and that is also going to add to your experience, even though it is not a paid role. Do pro bono consulting, and I'm very hopeful that you would soon land a job of your choice. I hope that helps. See, as I told you, today returnship program works for companies where they're able to tap into the talent pool which carries a particular experience, particular expertise, and that has to be relevant. However, that does not mean that you cannot make a shift. A shift is possible that may be a little more difficult and challenging, but it is not impossible. If you are deciding to make a shift to something which you have not worked before, then you have to gain the knowledge first. And to gain knowledge first, you have to go for various learning courses. So try to figure out, okay, this is the skill set I want to equip myself with. And suppose that skill set could be ABC technology. How do I get into that technology? Let me go and go for some learning courses on LinkedIn, some certification courses. Once I have done that, I can put that on my CV. For example, people who want to become project managers, they go for PMP certification courses. And that certification course makes you eligible for all the project manager jobs, right? So that certification holds very high value. So figure out the area where you want to make your career. Are there any certification courses that can make your candidature eligible, and not just eligible, but put you in the high, list of, priority candidates who can easily get into the interviews stage. So figure out those certification courses if there are available. I'm sure there would be. And parallelly, do some pro bono consulting. So as you are gaining knowledge, do some work, because you may not get into a paid job immediately. You may, but I'm just giving you various scenarios in case that takes time. Use a time period, whatever knowledge you have gained, start working with smaller organizations and give them your services. Start looking out for a job. So that shift is possible, Roshan, but you have to go with a structured and a very thought out process. Because if you will go all over the place, it is not going to lead any results. And I do not want, nobody would want to feel demotivated and, frustrated down the line. So go with the structured approach, and first also talk to some seniors. So the role which you are wanting to get into, connect with people who are already performing that role, who have that experience, take their advice. Is this the right career path that I am, thinking of? Is this the right process or the right path I'm following? So have a mentor. I think one piece maybe I could not talk about more is it's also important to have a mentor. A mentor at workplace. And that mentor could be one of your previous bosses, one of your previous colleagues. Stay in touch with them. Ask them, because when you are thinking of something, it's always good to take several opinions, right? And an opinion from a trusted mentor is always going to give you confidence that you are on the right. I think that's where references also help, tap into your network, try to make those connections where you get that entry, right? If you have that knowledge and you don't have that relevant experience, you're just waiting for somebody to give you that break, right? And so try making as many connections as you can. It is a long process. It may be a long process for you, Roshan, because you're right that companies today look for relevant experience, but there are companies which also value knowledge, and they may discount that experience when somebody is making an entry in their career. So for you, I know that you are discounting whatever you have done so far, and you are willing to restart your career from stage one. So I'm sure many employers should be able to understand your career path and give you that opportunity. But for that to happen, make a solid, strong network of like-minded professionals from the same industry, from the same roles, so that whenever such opportunity comes up, they tell you, yes, we have a vacancy, come and apply.